Blessings, beautiful friends. So today we will need 2 yoga bricks, blocks. You can do it without, but if you do have them, or books, anything that you can use as bricks, that would be great. So today we'll be doing some twisting, because the other day my back has been really stiff, and although you can't stretch out tight muscles, and I'll explain more about that later, I'm overdue a sports massage. Although you can't really stretch out tight muscles, I knew that I wanted to do some spinal twisting to release some tension in my spine. And I had a little look on YouTube, because sometimes I like to do other people's stuff, get some ideas, etc. And I couldn't seem to find one that was slow enough. I started doing one, and it's a lovely lady, I can't fault her teaching, but it was just too fast. I wasn't getting the benefit of the postures. There wasn't enough time to sink in and really get the benefits. So I thought, you know what, I'll just write one myself. Here we've got Miss Lulu the parrot. Honestly, she's just bonkers. So I thought, you know what, I'll write one myself. It's interesting how my practice and my teaching has changed over the years, and it's interesting to see how a lot of the younger teachers now are the same as I was. It was all very physical, very dynamic, which I used to be like, and now I like to take time. It's not that I can't do it, I just don't feel I'm getting benefit from racing through postures, because there's not enough time to really sink into it, to expand into it, to really fully release, because the body doesn't relax straight away. So you're only actually stretching kind of like on one level. Whereas when you take a bit of time to sink into the postures, you're stretching on every level, literally from the skin all the way down to your joints. So we're going to be focusing on twisting and focusing on releasing tension in the spine. As I said, I'm overdue a sports massage. I really need to get in there and get rid of the knots. But you're just bonkers, you are, woman. Honestly, she's crazy. Lost the plot. So often when we're feeling stressed or whatever, that can show up as back pain. If you're feeling kind of overwhelmed, overburdened, or that you're unable to stand up for yourself, everything's feeling a bit too much for you, you've just got a crazy freaking cat. That can show up as tension in the back. And as I said, you can't really stretch it out, but we can release tension in our spine, because our spine has a lot more range of movement than we often give it credit for. So we're going to start off in a wide child's pose, often known as wisdom pose, with our bricks, blocks. Sorry, sweetheart, I'm going to put you down, it's Lulu. So you're going to take your blocks, and you're going to just take your knees as wide as is comfortable. Just have like a little wiggle side to side to start with. So loosen up the spine. Now, as you're doing that, just hold on a second. I'll get my little Derek. He's not 100% anatomically correct, but he kind of gives you a really good idea. So I want you to visualize your spine. Now, of course, the spine isn't totally straight, and you've got 26 vertebrae of different size and shapes. So as we're working through the practice, I want you to try and visualize, keep an image in your mind of your spine, and imagine that, as I say, whenever it gets tight and tense, it's all compressed. We want to try and make a bit of space, create movement to stretch out the muscles alongside the spine. They're a little wiggle. So we're going to come into a wide wisdom pose with the bricks. Now, usually we can do this with our hands on the floor. We're going to use the blocks, bricks, to get more of a stretch across the chest and more lengthening the spine. So obviously I will lift my head in order to speak, but you kind of stay right where you are. Right, once you've got your comfortable wide leg position, and as always you can pop cushions or blankets or something behind your knees. So you're going to take your blocks and you're going to slide the hands out. Now I'm going to go out into a kind of V shape. Now keep the arms straight and literally just slide them. Start to slide them out so you start to feel a stretch in your spine. When you've gone as far as you can, then relax, or start to relax your head. Now keep the arms straight, so the idea is we don't collapse the elbows to the floor. I see people doing that. the elbows to the floor. So you can do it with the arms off the floor, but you're just getting a bit more of a stretch in the shoulders. So once you've gone as wide as you can or as far as you can, start to relax your head. Now to start with, your head may not be on the floor, and that's okay. So just let it relax, let it be nice and heavy. And just breathe deeply, full breaths in and full breaths out. So we're going to be here for a little while. So you're going to really settle into the pose. So just noticing how you feel now as we first come in. So to start with, it might feel a little bit tight. Your back might feel tight. So my back feels very tight because it's made of concrete in a minute. So just noticing how it feels with no judgment. Notice how often we say things like, oh, my bad back. It's not bad, hasn't done anything to you. It's just a little bit stiff, needs a bit of love and attention. And then just visualize from your tailbone all the way to the base of your skull. And each time you breathe in, feel or imagine that making space between the vertebrae, as if you're lengthening from your tailbone to the crown of your head. And each time you exhale, feel your heart melt down towards the floor. Let's say after a few breaths, you might start to notice that your head touches the floor. If not, just try and let it hang, let it be nice and heavy. Relax your jaw. And start to feel your rib cage expanding. So when we're in discomfort or tight, we tend to kind of tighten everything else as well because it's uncomfortable. When we're in pain, we tend to try and protect it, hence why we kind of tense and clench in order to try and protect the area. But that tends to just create more tension. So breathe as deeply as you can. Feel your belly expanding, rib cage expanding. And breathing all the way out as you breathe out, drawing your belly button in towards the spine. Again, feel your heart melt down towards the floor. And see if you can slow down the breath even more. Full deep breath in. Full breath out. You can notice how far. So when I first came into this position, my head hardly touched the floor, and now it's easily touching the floor. So once you give your body time to release and relax, it will sink deeper and deeper into the stretch. Just one more full breath in, so no rush, no hurry. And breathing all the way out. And just lifting your head. Bring the hands a little bit closer. So we're going to keep, so I'm going to keep my left arm where it is for now. I'm going to take my right arm. Without doing anything else, just slide the right arm under until it's gone as far as you can. Now, the reason for that is often in these poses, what people tend to do is they tend to go over in that direction. But what you're going to do is you're going to slide that arm as far through as you can go, but without, and then bring the shoulder to the floor there, rather than trying to go through the arm, if that makes sense. So you're reaching under, gone as far as you can, and then you gently bring the head and shoulder down to the floor. You're looking underneath this left arm. And just taking 2 full breaths here. Keep reaching through that left arm, pressing the right arm down into the floor, looking under your left armpit. So spinal twisting your upper back. Yeah, full breath in. And out. And slowly bring that arm back. Reach reach the other arm out. So reaching the right arm out. So again, it's about shoulder height this time. So keeping that right arm where it is. Take the left arm without moving anything else. Just slide it through as far as you can. So notice I've not moved anything else yet. I've just reached that arm under. When you've got as far as you can, then just gently bring the shoulder and the side of the face down to the floor. Press down into the right arm. Again, keep your left arm. Keep looking under your right armpit. So again, spinal twisting the upper back. 4 deep breath in and out and in and out. Release, come back up, nice and slowly. Now release the hands and gently bring your hands back in towards you. Just keeping the hands on the floor. You might want to bring the knees in a tiny bit. You're going to do a little spine flex here. So pressing into the hands, into the fingers, stretch out the wrists as well. Inhale, heart forward, exhale, round. Breathing in and out. So again, visualize your whole spine moving from tailbone to the base of the skull. As you inhale, tilt the pelvis forwards. You're lifting your tailbone as you would if you were doing cat on the hands and knees. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, drop the chin to the chest. Breathing in and out. Keep pressing into all your hand and fingertips. And come all the way up. Bring your knees in. Come forward, just onto your hands and tuck your toes under. If you get any rebellious toes, you can unstick them and just take a moment here, stretching out your toes. It's one of those stretches that feels nice when you come out. I quite like a toe stretch, but not everyone does. Full deep breath in and out. If you can, come back sitting in a kind of toe squat. And just circle out your wrists. Nice deep breath in and out. Round the other way. Go. Belly expands, ribcage expands, chest rises. As you breathe out, draw your belly button in, draw your pelvic floor muscles in. Fantastic. Release, untuck your toes. Come back to sit on your heels. Oh, it feels really nice after you stretch that toe. Well, I think so anyway. I might just be strange. I don't know. Separate your knees slightly if you need to. You can always put a cushion underneath your knees. This little exercise is great for releasing tension in your spine. You may hear some clicking and clunking as you do so. As you do it, so bring your fingertips onto your shoulders. You're going to inhale, twist left, exhale right. In, out, out. So breathing in and out through the nose, keep the elbows nice and wide. So you might hear a bit of clicking, clunking. I sometimes hear a kind of a click, crunch, whatever, because it releases tension in your spine. We're not here for too long. Three, two, one, and release. Come down into a child's pose, normal child's pose. Rest the forehead on the floor, rest the arms down beside you. Just taking a couple of nice deep breaths here. Feel your ribcage expand on the in-breath. Relax your heart and belly onto your sides on the out-breath. Once more, nice deep breath in and all the way out. As you breathe out, feel your back muscles, literally gravity stretching out your back muscles as you're resting on your thighs. coming up onto your hands and knees. Hands under your shoulders, knees under hips. Maybe you can support your wrists if you need to. And we do like a funky cat. So rather than kind of go forward and back as we often do, imagine kind of drawing a circle or a big kind of circly shape with your tailbone and just circle as if you're in a tumble dryer and being circled round and round. Just do what feels good for you. You might find some nice spots where it's like, oh yeah, I need to hang out there for a little bit. And visualize your spine, bring movement, fluidity into the spine. So you can take the movement all the way up to your head. Full breath in and out. Then change direction, going around the other way. Again, if you find an area, a point, we want to stop for a second or two, that's okay. And then come back to neutral. So we do another upper back spinal twist like we did a moment ago. So the same kind of thing. Make a kind of mental note where you're, so I'm going to take my right hand through. So I'm going to make a kind of mental note where your right hand is. Relaxing the shoulders, you're just going to slide the right arm under and reach through as far as you can go before you need to bend this left arm. And then instead of carrying on, bring your shoulder down to where that right hand was. So notice my shoulder is not close to my left hand, it's down where my right hand was. Press down into that left hand and draw your shoulder back. And staying here for a couple of breaths. And spinal twisting the upper back. Nice full breath in. And all the way out. Again, sometimes you might hear kind of tick, tick, tick. Sometimes I do this and I hear a lot of clicking and clunking in the spine as tension releases. Sometimes I don't get any, and that's okay. All different on different days. Keep pressing down into the left hand and breathe fully and completely. Now you can stay right here, or you can come into kind of what we call what is called the rolling panda. Don't ask me quite where the name came from. So we take that left foot out to the side, so it's almost touching your right hand. So your right hand, left foot, and then you start to drape that left arm over your head, and you can just kind of like roll back a little bit as if you're going to roll onto your shoulders. So it stretches out the upper back. It's kind of one of those that like to look at. It's like, oh my God, what are you doing? But it actually feels quite nice on the spine, and you can move around a little bit. So nice deep breaths in, stretch out that spine, and out. And starting to bring yourself back. So bring the knees back to the mat, press into your hand, and come back onto your hands and knees. Give a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to come back onto your hands and knees. So this time I'm going to take my left arm. Again, I'm just reaching it under. So I'm not, see what we tend to do, we tend to do that. We tend to kind of like start to bend the elbow before we've got anywhere. So just literally reaching through. So that's as far as I can go before I need to bend the arm. But instead of sliding through, so there's a little mark on the thing there where my left hand was. So I'm aiming to bring my shoulder down onto that point. So when you come down, you shouldn't be right in front of your right hand. You should be away from the right hand. And pressing both knees into the floor, stretch through the spine, nice deep breaths. Keep pressing the floor away with that right hand. Again, you can stay here, or you can take your right foot out as if you're trying to grab hold of that left hand with the right foot, then kind of drape that right hand over your head and almost roll back onto your shoulders. So try and find a point where you can kind of relax but without collapsing to the floor, which can be a bit of a challenge. And then when you come out slowly, bring that knee back underneath your hip. Ease yourself out. And just give yourself a little wiggle and jiggle. And we're going to come to lie on your belly. We're going to stretch out across the front of the shoulder. Now the trick is to focus on completely relaxing the chest and shoulders. So you're going to come down onto your front and you're going to take your right arm out to the side, shoulder height, palm down. And you're going to then come to rest on the right side of your face, so you're just looking to the left. And just take a breath here, completely relax that right arm and right shoulder. Try and keep it relaxed. If you're not quite sure, then inhale, tense the arm, tense the shoulder, and then exhale, relax it. So noticing how it feels, tense and relaxed. The next stage, you're going to bring your left knee up in front. So always kind of like doing a half flappy fish pose on your front. Keeping your attention in that right shoulder, keeping that right shoulder relaxed. And again, you may want to stay here, or you may want to bring your legs together and start to roll over. You can use your left hand, start to roll over to the side. Again, this is where your shoulder might start to tense up, so always stop to check, like, am I tensing? Because sometimes if it's quite a strong stretch, you may end up inadvertently tensing the muscles. So relax the shoulders. That's it. It's quite a strong shoulder and chest stretch, which I really love, even though it's kind of mildly uncomfortable. I really still enjoy it. And again, you can stay here, kind of rocking a little bit, or you can take the top leg, open the knee out, bring the ball of the foot to the floor behind your right leg, and open that knee out. So you're getting more of a twist and stretching out your shoulder at the same time. So again, check in, make sure you're not tensing the shoulders. Breathe, full deep breaths in and out. Yeah, it's one of these when you can totally relax, and I just noticed occasionally that I was tensing a little bit, so I then try and relax it a little bit.
because it's a strong stretch, your body will kind of like tense to try and protect itself. So it's your job to kind of be aware of that, so you can say it's okay, you can relax, it's all right. And just, yeah, let it go a little bit longer, which is why we're holding the poses a bit longer, so that we have time to observe what's going on, to perhaps observe why we might be tensing, and to observe the benefits when we stop tensing. And after your next exhale, we're going to come out super slowly. Super slowly. So start reversing the move again. Come out slowly because it's you've gone quite deep stretch. So come back via the kind of fluffy fish. And then gently roll onto your belly so that you're then looking down at the floor. And you're going to slide this left arm over to the right, palm upwards. Then take the right arm, slide it over to the left. So you're in a kind of shoelace position. And then you're going to maybe take your feet a little bit wider than hip width, turn the feet out slightly, let the hips relax and let the head relax. And just staying here, getting an upper back spinal twist, getting a mini back bend. So you may end up with your head kind of like resting on your arm, like on your face, so your arms are like that, across there, so you've got to stretch across the upper back. Let your head go, so say it might be kind of like into your jumper, and with the feet turned out slightly, a bit like Makrasana, crocodile pose, you'll feel a release in your hips. So again, we're going to stay here for 5, 6, 7 breaths, 4 deep breaths, and you will feel your body release and relax a little bit more each time. As I say, the body goes away. The body's always trying to look out for us. It's always trying to do the right thing. It's always trying to protect us. And so, we tend to tense because we don't want to injure ourselves. So each time you exhale, you'll feel a release somewhere. So you'll feel your head relax a little bit more. You'll feel your belly relax into the floor. You'll feel my voice disappearing. Just so you know, the video hasn't frozen. Take one more full deep breath in. Feel the support of the ground beneath you. As you breathe out, let go a little bit more. Then again, come out slowly. Because quite often we don't realise how deep we've gone into a stretch until we come out. Bring your feet back first, And then kind of gently wiggle your shoulders out, just taking a moment here, maybe wiggle out the hips, whatever. And so often we don't realize how deep we've gone into a pose until we come out. So we can do the other side. So we can take the left arm out. So turn the head to the right. Relax that arm, relax the shoulder. Again, you can tense the muscles and then release it. Make sure it stays there as you bring that right knee up. And again, always checking in each step of the way. Check that, you know, everything's still relaxed, still as it should be. So this is my slightly stiffer side, so I'm more likely to start tensing here. So I have to really stop and pay attention. Then you might find you can go a little bit further, or you might just decide to stay there. So you might decide to bring the leg together and roll a little bit more. So we're going to try and keep the rest of the body kind of relaxed as possible, while stretching out the left shoulder, left side of the chest. And then if you wish, you might want to take that right foot to the floor and open it up to the ceiling. And don't forget, keep that breath flowing, full deep breaths in, full breaths out. So make sure you're not holding the breath, because if you're holding the breath, you will be holding tension, creating tension. Yeah, I tend to do a little kind of like little rocking, get a bit more of a stretch, but the most important thing is that the left arm stays completely relaxed. And one more full deep breath in, and all the way out. Again, slowly coming out, super slow and controlled. Gently roll onto your belly. And when you get there, slide the right arm over to the left. Bring that left arm, slide it, wiggle it, jiggle it over to the right. You can take the feet wider, maybe turn the feet inwards this time so they're kind of slightly pigeon-toed to get a bit different stretch on your hips. Again, just let the head be heavy, relax the head completely, even if you're like literally muffling your head, your mouth against your arm, let it relax. Breathe along the length of your spine. As you breathe in, feel your spine lengthening. As you breathe out, feel the muscles alongside the spine, releasing and relaxing. And the idea is that you get to the point where you're almost melting into the floor. There's no muscular effort, just melting down. Another full breath in and out. And so slowly starting to come back. Come out nice and gently. Wiggle the arms back a little bit. Bring the legs back in a little bit. And then just come to rest your chin on your hands for a moment. And you're going to bring your right knee up as if you're trying to bring it up towards the elbow. Bring the left arm down beside you and just turn to the right. And just start to roll a little bit as if you're coming into a spinal twist. Lift up, bring your left elbow onto the mat and lift up and look towards your left foot, which is that extended leg. So press down into the elbow. So we're doing a little spinal twist here. You can reach the arm up, stretch it up, or you can just rest it down on the floor, but keep pressing into that forearm. Then you're going to bring yourself up to sitting. You're going to bring this knee across, make space. You're in like a half Gomukhasana, like a half cow face pose. It's quite a strong stretch for your outer hips. So slide your fingers between your calves and your thigh. Move the sit bones out the way. Inhale as you exhale, just melt forward. So you probably won't need to go very far before you feel it, a stretch in your hamstrings, in your spine. So you're not grabbing for your foot or anything, just breathing. 3 full deep breaths in and out. And in and out. And in and out. And just carry yourself up. Bring this foot to the floor in a twisting position. Find your sit bones. Bring this left arm across, over, hook it outside your right knee, and just looking over your right shoulder. Make sure you're not tensing the right shoulder. So just take a couple of breaths here. As you breathe in, imagine lengthening up from your tailbone to the crown. So you're creating space between each vertebrae. As you breathe out, twist a little bit further. Inhale, come back. You're just going to bring your hands to the floor, to the side, left side of your hip, and just imagine bending in that general direction, but keeping both sit bones on the floor, so you feel a bit of a stretch down the side of the body. So that's all you're doing. Bring the hands to the floor and just turning, but keeping both sit bones. Make sure you're not twisting off that right sit bone. So you're going to stretch kind of along the right side here, and then you're going to roll, and you're going to find your way back onto the mat. And you're going to come back onto your belly. Then we do the other side. So you're going to bring the left knee up towards you, so it's like a kind of flappy fish. Then you're going to come up, I did it slightly wrong last time, come up onto the right elbow, lift and look towards that foot. Try and press out of the waist. Energize this underneath leg. So again, you're getting a little spinal twist because your lower body is one direction and you're turning through the upper body. So try not to collapse down here, but try and lift out. You can reach the arm up if you wish, or just keep it down on the floor. Then come up, press up, roll yourself up to sitting, and this leg should hopefully end up in the right place for half Gomukhasana. But it does help if you've got a wide mat, but if you need to adjust onto the mat, that's okay. So again, find your sit bones, nice deep breath in. As you exhale, just relax the upper body. Now I find this got a really strong stretch on the hamstring, so I don't need to kind of grasp or grab for my foot. I just literally let my upper body be heavy. Head relaxed, so you might be nowhere near the leg, that's okay. Just full deep breath in and out. In and out. Inhaling, coming up. Adjust this foot to bring it flat to the floor. Hook the right elbow over the knee, or you can just hold on to the knee. You might find it feels a little bit easier because we have done a fair bit of spinal twisting already. And make sure you're not tensing the back shoulder. Press the right leg down into the floor. So anchor down through this right leg, so there's a little bit more energy here. Inhale, rise from your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. Exhale, twist a little bit further. And inhale, undo. Just bring your hands. So you bring your hands to the floor. So it looks like you're not doing a lot, but you'll feel a bit of a stretch in the muscles alongside your spine. Again, make sure you're not tipping off your sit bones. So you're pressing your sit bones down into the mat. And you might even imagine trying to bring your nose towards the floor. Feel that stretch along your spine. And then we just reverse. We come back the way that we started onto the belly. Bring the hands either side of the ribs. Now lift the belly, lift the hips. Exhale, reverse. Press up, sit back to your heels. Open the knees. Stretch the arms out. Palms flat this time. Just stretching them out, noticing how it feels this time. Notice if it feels any different this time. Might feel a little bit easier this time. And then just taking a couple of breaths. If your head doesn't touch the floor, just let it hang down. And after your next exhale, lift your head, walk your hands towards you. Bring your knees in, tuck your toes under, come up into a little toe squat. If you haven't got room behind you, just take a little walk forward and come down onto your back. Into Shavasana. Soften or close your eyes. Shake your legs out, let them relax. Shake your arms out, let them relax.
Inhale, tense every muscle in the body, squeeze as tight as you can. Exhale, let it relax. Once more, inhale, tense all the muscles in your body, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale and relax. And just staying here, taking a few nice deep breaths. And feel or imagine your spine lengthening with each in-breath. Releasing with each out-breath. Full breath in. Full breath out. And inhaling from tailbone right up to the base of the skull. Feel, imagine making space between the vertebrae. As you breathe out, going for your rib cage. Relax down into the floor. Hopefully it feels like there's a little bit more space between your vertebrae. And so twisting is so good for the body for so many reasons. It keeps us, mobile. It helps to release stress, helps to release tension. We spend so much time sitting nowadays. I spend more time sitting as well. And modern life is not good for our back. And the other thing is to say, if you're feeling overwhelmed, as a lot of us do nowadays, that also shows up as in the back, because that's your support system. So if you're worried that you cannot support yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, whatever, that will show up also in back discomfort. So noticing how it feels in your body. If you can visualize your spine, your skeleton, would it feel like you've made a bit more space between the vertebrae? You can stay here a little while longer. And as I said in the beginning, you can't stretch out tension. So sometimes people come to me and say, how can I stretch out my shoulders? Like, I've got a pain in my shoulder, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you probably need a massage, or need to get down on a massage ball, because when you've got that kind of tightness, tension, there's a knot in your muscle. And if you imagine a rope with a knot in and you're pulling on it, you're tightening that knot, you're making it worse. And as I know from experience, from having tension and keep stretching it, it can go into spasm. So really, you need to either book someone like me, or say I go for a massage, to have a sports massage, a proper sports massage. Massages are nice, but you want a proper sports one that gets into the knotty bits, the trigger points. Or you can use a massage ball such as this. I get down on the floor and I use a massage ball. I also have a back arch, which has got like acupressure points, which kind of bends you over backwards to open up and release tension. I've also got a Shakti mat, which I'll show you another time, which helps to release tension. But yeah, massaging to release the knot and then stretch it out. It's a bit like, I don't eat meat, but when people eat steak, they tenderize it. They get a hammer thing and tenderize it, not a hammer, but a special hammer to tenderize it. And then basically, meat is muscle. You're eating muscle. And if it's kind of gristly and knotty, when you get those like tight, that's really, my neck is tight and tense, that's what it is. And stretching it can help, but you need to get rid of the knot, the tension. Otherwise, as I said, if you just keep stretching it, believe me, it happened to me, and it went to spasm and I couldn't move my arm because I needed to get rid of the knot. So yeah, so doing something like this is great. That's why I wanted to do some spinal twists the other day, because my back I do really need a massage. I'm overdue for a massage. But I wanted some gentle twist to release tension in my spine without overdoing it, hence why I wrote this routine. I've only done part of the routine today. I may do the full routine, but that's the beauty of practice, right? You can do as much or as little as you like. But hopefully you feel a bit better and you can feel the difference in your spine. So when you're ready, if you haven't come up already, when you're ready, bring yourself up to sitting in a mindful way. Don't just throw yourself up. Bring your palms together, hands to heart to hands. Take a little
about, and I really shouldn't, I say to people don't eat before practice. I make the mistake of having like a small bowl of yogurt and granola before practice. Big mistake. There's a reason you're supposed to leave 2 hours between eating and practice, because you're squishing and twisting and everything, and it's really not a good idea. Now we've got Top Gun going outside, so from Lulu and me, and from Derek here. I say he's not the most anatomically correct, and there's not as much room. I would like to get a big proper skeleton, but it gives you an idea. I think sometimes if having a visual, as a tailbone right down there, really does help when I say imagine X, Y, Z. Not everyone knows what's going on in their body, so imagining the spine and the ribs, etc., can be helpful. So from Derek, Lulu, and myself, toodly bye.